I used to think that I cannot go on in life with nothing but an awful song. But now I know the meaning of true love. I'm leaning on the everlasting arms. If I can see it, then I can do it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly.
Thank you so much. So probably about 2 weeks ago, I was walking on the beach, and it was when that tropical storm was coming through, and it was windy, and there was nobody there but me, and the water was great to walk in, and this song just started singing in my head, I believe I can fly. You know, sometimes songs just come out of nowhere. If we've heard them, they come at the right time. And that feeling of walking in the ocean, that sense of being so free and being lifted up, it wouldn't let me go. And I was in there working on my talk, and we had an insurance adjuster come in the house. And I heard him in the kitchen talking with John, and then he said, okay, now I'm going to go do what I love to do more than anything else in the world. It's really my passion. And I heard him say hang gliding. And I went, hey, Scott, come in here. Tell me more about this. And so I believe I can fly. You know, when I get something in my head, when you get something in your head, we're being told, and it gets put in front of us. So I've got some videos from you, because this Friday morning I went hang gliding. So if you shut the lights, please. Okay. Can you move so Phyllis can see? Woohoo! There he goes! Woohoo, Trevor! And you're on a private yacht, and I got him. Yeah, I'll give this to him.
And my husband wanted to go hang gliding, so we ended up here. I see.
So this is after the plane released us. And at this time, the clouds were creating rainbows, and we could see the shadow of the glider in the rainbows. Something very rare. It doesn't happen very often. And this is the landing. Can you full screen it, Dan? Thank you, guys. Thank you. So on our Facebook page for this week, with the sky is not the limit, your belief system is. And today's talk is power of beliefs. When I allow myself to be awake, to be aware, to feel the joy of life, then I can step into it more and more and more. How many of you know the story of the little engine that could? Everybody, right? So there's this big freight yard, and this large train is there. It needs to be pulled to the top of a mountain. And it goes to all the large engines and asks all the large engines to pull it up over the mountain. They all have excuses why they can't do it. Think about the times you get opportunities to make excuses. So out of desperation, this big train goes to the smallest engine in the lot, the switch engine, which is just made to pull a few cars on and off switches. And he asked the little switch engine, can you pull me up this mountain? And the answer was, I think I can. Right? I think I can. So the little engine gets in front of this big train, and it gets hooked up, and it starts up this mountain going, what? I think I can. I think I can. And as it gets steeper and it puffs harder and harder, it goes, what? I think I can. I think I can. And it gets to that peak that scared all the other big engines. And it makes it over and down to its destination. And that story is all about the power of belief. I mean, you probably heard it as a child. You probably read it to your kids if you have kids as a child. But what happened? But what happened to that power of belief that we were taught as children? What happens as we get older to those beliefs? Because our beliefs are powerful. They limit us or they empower us. And where is my belief? Where is it? Where does it live? In my head, right? Inside of me. Yeah. And where do most of those beliefs come from? Most of them, a good many of them, are handed down to us from our parents, our family, our culture, the norm of the society we grew up in. And we don't know any better, right? We don't know the difference. It's what we're taught. You know, religious beliefs. You took on the religion of whatever your parents had as a kid. You guys are smarter, though. You're all changed. Our political affiliation sometimes gets handed down to us. Our beliefs about what marriage is supposed to look like, our beliefs around racism, our beliefs around sports teams, what we can accomplish. Do you know that prior to 1954, no one had ever run a 4-minute mile? And it was believed, physically impossible, that the lungs would explode and you would die. So runners tried, but none of them could break that barrier until Roger Bannister came along. Because you know what? He didn't buy into it. And he ran what's called the Miracle Mile, May 6, 1954. He not only broke the world record, he broke the limiting belief for thousands of other runners. And after that, more and more runners started to break that. Now the 4-minute mile is norm. I mean, mostly everyone does it. We are not chained to our current capabilities, current skills, current talents. If I believe it, I can do it. That's how strong the power of our belief is. So, as you're sitting there, take a moment to think about, do I have a belief that's limiting me? Do I have a belief that's limiting me? And we don't get to blame anybody else for it. We don't get to blame our parents for it because they had beliefs handed down to them. They just handed them to us, right? They didn't know any better. But we do, don't we? We know how to make a difference. We know how to change because beliefs are not truth. They're not the truth. They're what? They're my perception or the perception of the person I bought that belief from. Remember when it was believed that the earth was flat? You went to the edge, you'd fall off, right? That was a belief, wasn't it? And the critics of the Wright brothers said if God wanted man to fly, he would have given him wings. You know, but the Wright brothers went beyond that belief, didn't they? So think about this. Think about when you were 4 or 5 years old. What was the belief you had around Christmas? And what about at Easter time? Who brought you the eggs? And what happened when you put that tooth under your pillow? Yeah, beliefs, aren't they? They're beliefs that worked for you at that time. But just like clothes as we get older. We sometimes outgrow them, don't we? They don't work for us anymore. Your life, my life, has no limitations except the ones created in my mind. So what belief is holding you back? It might not be right there in your forefront, because they're usually in our subconscious. They're hiding in there. We don't even know they're there. So is there a place in your life where you've tried all kinds of things and it just doesn't get better? You can't make it work, no matter what you do? There's a belief under there. And so that's when we take the time to be quiet and just sit with it and see if we can go underneath. Where's that belief? How deep does it go? What about, I'll never get ahead. I'll never be out of debt. How's that belief going to affect you financially? What about diets don't work for me, it's genetic? What about I'm not smart enough? I'm not strong enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. These are beliefs. You are smart enough. You are good enough. You are strong enough. You are worthy enough. You are lovable. And it's only a belief that makes you think otherwise. And what do we get? What do I get? What do you get for holding these beliefs? I get to be a victim. I sabotage myself with these beliefs. Our beliefs shape our life, and they bring us misery or joy. If I believe I have to work hard to get what I want, guess what? I'm going to be having to work hard, aren't I? But if I believe things can come easy, you know what? They'll be put in front of me. Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. If I think I can or I think I can't, I'm right, because it's my belief. So don't blame anybody else. Don't blame any situation or event or thing that happened to you. Don't blame anything, because you're in charge. I am in charge of my beliefs. The motivational speaker and author of 70 books, Brian Tracy, and here's what he said. You begin to fly when you let go of self-limiting beliefs and allow your mind and aspirations to rise to greater heights. Wasn't this the perfect song? I believe I can fly. I believe I can walk through that open door. The most powerful things in the world are not weapons. They're beliefs. You think about any war that's ever happened is because of someone's beliefs. Our beliefs can propel us past any challenge or any obstacle. You have that power. I believe I can soar. See me running through that open door with me. I believe I can soar. See me running through that open door. Let go of those limited beliefs. Move through that door. Stop using. Watch your limiting statements. Watch when you say, I can't. Watch when you say, it's impossible. Watch when you say, I'm too old. So Unity is here. It's based on Myrtle Filmer's healing. And I've said this story, and I'm using it again today, that when she was 40 years old, she was given 6 months to live. She had tuberculosis. And she went to a lecture, and she heard these words, Dan. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. So what if you said, I am a child of God, and therefore I am unlimited. I am a child of God. Say it with me. I am a child of God, and therefore I am unlimited. Can you feel it? Can you believe it? Can you own it? Morris Goodman was called the Miracle Man. So we had the Miracle Mile with Barrister, right? And the Miracle Man with Goodman. When he was 35, he was soloing in a plane, and he crashed. He broke his neck, he crushed his spinal cord, and every major muscle in his body was destroyed. All he could do was blink his eyes. Doctors said he would never walk, he would never breathe without a respirator. But his mind was fine. And so Morris started visualizing himself walking out of that hospital. And he never allowed a thought that said otherwise in his mind. 8 months later, he walked out of the hospital. The doctors couldn't believe it. They couldn't understand it. They couldn't explain it. But Morris did. He said, man becomes what he thinks about. What are you thinking about? What are the thoughts that are in your mind most of the time? Because they're running your life. Ernest Holmes, who was the founder of religious science, studied with the Fillmores under Mary Baker Eddy. And Ernest Holmes said this: life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. That's one of our principles, isn't it? How I see it. How I see the world is going to be how I see the world. That doesn't mean the world's that way. So 11 years ago, May 1st, I started here at this church. And about a month and a half later, I had my first hip replacement. 2 years later, I had the other one. Doctors gave me all kinds of restrictions, all kinds of, up in that. I don't think so. But we don't have to buy into these beliefs. So I worked, I exercised, I did what my body needed to strengthen those muscles that were cut. And now I think maybe I do more than I used to do before. Don't buy into somebody else's beliefs. You have the power, and this is proven, we have the power to change our brain wave patterns. And when we do, we can tap into that subconscious. And we have the power to reprogram how we think and what we believe. That's why in Unity we use affirmations. We affirm who we are. We affirm our goodness. If life isn't showing up the way you want it to, if you feel anxious, frustrated, fearful, stressed, there is a core belief under there. And that belief is sabotaging you. We can eradicate all that negative clutter that's been handed down, that's been accumulated. When I went hang gliding Friday morning, the two people I went with, Trevor Nimmons was my osteopath, saw me through all my hip surgeries with him, and a friend, his name is Bruce. And if you go to Aquarian Dreams, you may run into him. He's a hypnotist. He does healing work. He does astrology. He's lived in Santa Cruz. He was with the people that began Heart Math Institute. He spent 25 years in Sedona. He's been doing this work for years and years and years. And we got into the discussion about beliefs, because what he's saying is under all the people that come to see him and all the people he works with, the core belief underneath it is what they work to get rid of. And it changes the person instantly once that belief is gone. So think about it. How's your life showing up? Do you feel free? Do you feel unlimited? Or do you have those I can'ts? It's impossible. Author James Cook said, "Do just once what others say you can't do, and you will never pay attention to their limitations again. Stop listening to the world. Let go of the belief that everyone else knows better than you, because they don't. Because let me tell you, what is inside each and every single one of you is so powerful. But I have to go under there. I have to go in there. I have to know that place of power within myself. I have to touch it. And you can tell when you touch it. You know how you can tell? Because there's a joy like nothing else. There's a sense of freedom, of being lifted up, just like Lindsay sang to us. Your reality is a reflection of your beliefs. So whenever you're anxious, whenever you're worried, whenever you're stressed or fearful, just know that there's a belief causing it and that you have the power to remove it. So this week and from now on, I want you to be like that little engine. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And you can climb any mountain. If you think it, if you believe it, you can make it happen, and you can fly too. God bless you.